Guys, today we're going to dissect a question that I'd bet has made more than a few of you scratch your heads and overthink things to exhaustion. So, in the end, do women like nice guys or bad boys? This question hangs around in men's minds like a curse. But let me be blunt right from the start, the definitions of nice guy and bad boy that you usually hear are often completely wrong. Don't rush to conclusions or judgments. We need to look at this issue in a more realistic and deeper way. Because let's be honest, what man doesn't want to be the man of a woman's dreams? Right. But if we misunderstand what nice guy and bad boy really mean, we'll be lost forever in a maze of vague and misguided expectations. So what exactly is a nice guy from a woman's perspective? It's actually quite simple. He's a calm man, a man whose life is relatively stable, who has routines, schedules, and habits. He's someone a woman can rely on, someone who makes her feel safe. He's not overly challenging, not overly surprising. The kind of man you could imagine as a peaceful harbour. Sounds appealing, doesn't it? So what about the bad boy? Just hearing the term already sounds rough, but hold on. A bad boy here is not an abusive man, not a con artist, not a criminal. Absolutely not. Never confuse a bad boy with a bad person or a manipulative jerk. Brothers, that kind of man is criminal, immoral, and something no woman truly wants in her life. A bad boy in this context, according to how women genuinely experience it, is a man who dares to think and dares to act. He's spontaneous. He enjoys surprises. He's willing to take risks. And he constantly challenges himself and the situations around him. He brings excitement, novelty, and unpredictable experiences. He's a blazing flame, a fresh wind blowing into life. You see, on one side, there is stability. On the other, spontaneity. One side is a harbour, the other is an adventure. Neither is absolutely better than the other. Life itself is a galaxy filled with countless shades, not just black and white, and men are the same. Some lean more toward one side, some toward the other, and many fall somewhere in between. In fact, a single man can carry both of these traits within him. So let go of old prejudices. We're talking about a deeper, more realistic view of the nature of men and what women desire. You know this when women are young, when girls are just stepping into adulthood. What they crave most is fun. Yes, simply fun. The world feels like a massive playground, and they want to run, explore, and enjoy every moment. The line "girls just want to have fun" isn't just a catchy lyric, it's an obvious truth. At this stage, everything feels new. Life is overflowing with energy and surprises. Young women don't yet fully understand what they expect from a long-term relationship, from a man who will walk beside them for life. What they do know, what they feel, is that they want to live fully, laugh a lot, and experience exciting things without stopping. And this is exactly when the bad boy, in the positive sense we've defined, becomes incredibly attractive. Picture this: a man who's always ready for crazy ideas and spontaneous adventures. On a beautiful afternoon, he might suddenly invite his girlfriend on a road trip. No elaborate planning needed. One weekend, instead of staying home watching movies, he suggests an unexpected beach trip or trying an extreme sport. These are men who dare to break boredom, dare to test limits, and most importantly, dare to bring excitement. They're not trapped by rigid habits or fixed schedules. Being with them, women feel like life is an action movie always filled with unexpected twists and fresh scenes. They feel inspired to live more freely, more boldly, and to keep discovering themselves. That spontaneity, that unpredictability, becomes an incredibly powerful magnet. It makes every day feel meaningful, something worth anticipating. Young women feel they're living true to their youth, releasing their energy, and experiencing things that later, when life becomes busier and heavier with responsibility, they may no longer have the chance to. They don't want to be the only source of fun in a relationship. They want a partner who can create memorable moments with them, laugh loudly with them, and face small challenges together. A bad boy, with his instinct for adventure, challenge, and breaking norms, is exactly the kind of man who can satisfy those burning desires. Of course, I'm not saying all women are the same, and everyone has their own preferences. But in general, at an age when the soul is still soaring, still overflowing with the desire to explore, spontaneity and surprises from a man who dares to live and dares to challenge himself always hold a special kind of attraction. This is a stage of innocence, soaring dreams, and first life experiences. At this point, women don't think much about stability or deeper values. What they want is simple to have fun. And the bad boy, the one who brings adventures and carefree laughter, is the passport to that joy. Life isn't always a string of happy days, right? As women mature, as they begin to face the ups and downs of life, whether in relationships or while single, they start to realize what they truly want, and more importantly, what they need. And one of the factors that has an enormous impact on these choices is trauma psychological wounds from the past. It may sound heavy, but this is a raw truth. Many women and men too carry invisible scars from difficult experiences. These can come from family, from how they were raised, from toxic past relationships, or even from social expectations weighing heavily on their shoulders. These scars don't fade easily. They hide deep in the subconscious, quietly shaping how they view love, how they experience the world, and how they choose a partner. Imagine a woman who went through a turbulent childhood, where she frequently witnessed instability, conflict, or felt unsafe, or someone who was once in a highly volatile relationship betrayed, abandoned, leaving her in a constant state of anxiety and imbalance. Those experiences create deep trauma. Her body and mind, unconsciously, are always seeking compensation, seeking an anchor to hold on to. When a woman feels all over the place, meaning her life feels chaotic, out of control, with no solid ground, what do you think she longs for the most? Take a guess. It's peace, stability, safety. She will seek a man who can bring balance, a solid anchor she can rely on and feel protected by. And that's exactly when the nice guy, the calm, reliable man with a stable, predictable life becomes the top choice. This man doesn't bring constant surprises or intense challenges. Instead, he offers consistency and certainty. He's someone who can listen, who can be there when she needs him, and who provides the sense of safety she has lost or perhaps never had. This preference isn't entirely a rational choice. It's often a subconscious response from the body and mind, a self-protective mechanism meant to heal wounds. She may not be fully aware that she's choosing a man to heal her trauma, but deep down, that's exactly what's happening. Love at this stage is redefined not just as fun, but as peace, stability, and a feeling of being sheltered. It's closely tied to how we grow up, to how we learn to perceive love through the people around us. If a girl grows up surrounded by chaos, then as an adult, she will unconsciously seek the opposite. She will look for a man who can fill in the gaps, the fears left behind by trauma. This is a truth that can sometimes feel harsh, but it's extremely important for us as men to understand. Women don't always choose based on what they say or what they think they want. Sometimes, it's the invisible scars from the past that act as the compass guiding their hearts, and in those moments, the man who brings peace and stability becomes the hero they need most. So if you ever wonder why a woman who appears strong and adventurous chooses a man who seems quiet and reserved, remember this trauma factor. It may be the key to many things in love that seem hard to understand. All right, we've walked through the scars of the past. Now, let's look at how present-day life and new emotions can completely reshape a woman's preferences. Life itself is inherently a constant flow, and so are we as human beings, always changing, always evolving. What a woman longs for today may no longer suit her tomorrow, and this is exactly where we clearly see the fluctuation in their preferences, something that often leaves many brothers feeling confused. Picture this: a woman who has gone through trauma, who has found stability beside a nice guy, a man who brings her the peace and safety she needs. Her life becomes lighter, more orderly, free from turbulence. Everything seems to fall into place. Sounds perfect, right? But then, one day, when the wounds have healed, when life has become too calm, a strange feeling begins to creep in. She starts to feel bored. Yes, absolute stability can sometimes turn into an invisible cage. Life just keeps moving forward, day after day, with nothing new, no surprises, no challenges. She begins to feel stuck. When this boredom reaches its peak, when she feels her life has become dull, with nothing left to explore, nothing to strive for, what happens then? Once again, her preferences begin to shift. She starts craving stimulation, spontaneity, new opportunities, new experiences, things a nice guy often struggles to provide. And this is exactly when the bad boy, the man who dares to challenge, dares to take risks, dares to do unexpected things, returns to center stage. He's the one who can stir up her overly peaceful life. He constantly does things differently, throws out bold ideas, embraces risk, and continuously creates new opportunities. You might think, but what if it all fails? Yes, of course there will be failures and difficulties, but at the very least, the woman feels like she's getting something from the relationship. She gets to experience, to live, to feel the full range of emotions, whether success or failure. What matters is that she no longer feels her life is frozen or stagnant. Women's preferences are not a simple on-off switch, nor are they a permanent contract. They're more like a pendulum, swinging back and forth between the two extremes of nice and bad, depending on the stage of life, on what she's lacking, and on what her soul is yearning for. It's these internal factors, the subconscious responses of the body to stress and to life, that truly shape their desires. She may think she wants a stable man, but deep down she longs for a touch of madness to spice up her life. Or, after years of adventure, she may crave a peaceful harbour. This fluctuation is completely natural. It's not inconsistency or confusion about what she wants. It's simply how human beings respond to life's changes and to their ever-evolving needs. A woman is always seeking balance, whether it's between fun and safety, or between stability and excitement. So never think you've figured women out just because they once liked a certain type of man. Their lives are long journeys, and their preferences are journeys without end. Understanding this will help you see things more openly and feel less confused when faced with women's choices. This is one of the most important parts, where the truth begins to reveal itself in its rawest form. We've talked about trauma, about fluctuating preferences, but there's one thing women and we men as well often don't realize until it's too late. Their choices often don't come from logic, but from the subconscious and the body's reactions. Listen to me here. Women usually carry an ideal image in their minds. They think, I want a guy like this or like that, someone spontaneous, someone who takes me out to explore the world, someone who always creates surprises, or the opposite, I need someone stable, safe, a peaceful harbour. They paint a very clear, very beautiful picture of the man they believe they want. But then, life doesn't operate according to that perfect script, because what they think they want and what their bodies actually need are often two completely opposite extremes. It is precisely the scars from trauma we talked about earlier, combined with the body's biological reactions to stress and life pressures, that become the final deciding factors. Imagine a woman who has been through many upheavals. She thinks she needs a strong man, someone constantly challenging her to lift her spirits. But deep inside, her body is already exhausted from tension and unpredictability. What her body truly craves at that moment is peace, a sense of safety, a place to rest and be soothed. At that point, no matter how hard logic tries to convince her that it has to be a bad boy, it has to be an adventurous man, her body responds differently. It guides her toward a calm, stable man, someone who provides a sense of safety, even if at first she doesn't find him as exciting as the ideal image she had imagined. This is a silent inner battle, and more often than not, the subconscious wins. And this is also when women often make mistakes in relationships. They rush into a relationship with a man they think they want someone who fits the ideal image in their minds, but after some time, when the initial emotions fade and the body starts to speak up, they face a harsh truth. This isn't what I actually need. They may believe they want a man who is always on the go, constantly busy with projects, trips, meetings, a man whose life is always energetic and non-stop. But then their body longs for someone who stays home, someone who listens, someone who can share quiet evenings with them. This contradiction creates confusion, disappointment, and sometimes breakups. Don't think that women are hard to understand or naturally fickle. In reality, it's because they're listening to two different voices inside themselves. One voice from conscious thought, shaped by what society or friends say they should want, and another, deeper voice from the subconscious and the body's fundamental survival needs. Trauma doesn't only affect the mind, it becomes embedded in how the body reacts to the world. Someone who has been betrayed will instinctively seek absolute loyalty, even if logic says be open. Someone who grew up in instability will constantly crave stability, even if she appears to enjoy surprises. So, When a woman says she likes a certain type of man, remember, that's only part of the story. This is a wake-up call for both men and women. Don't trust only what you think you want. Listen as well to the signals from your body and subconscious, because it's those unintentional forces that truly shape each person's path in love. We've gone deep into the mysteries of female psychology now. Now, let's clearly redefine what the ideal man women are truly seeking, not someone who is purely nice or purely bad. After everything we've explored together, from youthful cravings for fun, to trauma scars, to shifting preferences, and even subconscious choices, who is the ideal man in a woman's eyes? Really? Is it simply a nice guy or a bad boy in absolute terms? Let me be direct, there is no rigid mould. What women truly need is not a one-dimensional man, but a man with balance. Have you ever heard of the yin-yang philosophy? That's the key right here. There is no good without bad existing alongside it, and vice versa. A true man is a combination of many dimensions. A man can carry within him the calmness and reliability of a nice guy, a safe harbour, a solid shoulder to lean on when life gets hard. But at the same time, he can also possess the spontaneity, boldness, and willingness to take risks of a bad boy, someone who brings excitement, fresh experiences, and continuously renews the relationship. He's not someone who rigidly follows schedules like a machine, nor is he chaotic or irresponsible. He knows when to be stable and when to break the pattern a little to breathe new life into things. That's the balance between planning and spontaneity, between safety and risk. A man who can build a home with her, but can also unexpectedly pull her out of her comfort zone to explore the world. And there is one factor more important than all others, one thing I want you to engrave into your mind: respect. Whether he's a nice guy or a bad boy, that man must always know how to respect himself, respect his woman, and respect the values of life. The bad boy we're talking about here is not a man who lacks respect, a womanizer, or someone who looks down on women. Absolutely not. That is a bad person, not a bad guy in the positive sense. A man who is bad in the sense of daring to challenge and daring to take risks can still be an extremely respectful man. He may challenge rules, but he never tramples on morality or the law. He may do unexpected things, but he always puts a woman's safety and emotions first. Never confuse a toxic man with a challenging man. A toxic man manipulates, deceives, disrespects, and brings nothing but pain. No woman truly wants that unless she's carrying trauma so deep that her perception of love has become distorted. And that is an entirely different issue, one that needs healing, not pursuit. What women seek in a bad boy is spontaneity, strength, and the attraction of a man who dares to live and dare to experience life. But at the same time, they also need safety, stability, and trust from a man who knows how to respect and how to love. This is a man who can challenge her so she grows, but never hurt her. A man can possess both of these qualities, and that is completely normal. In fact, that is the ideal model. He knows when to be gentle and when to be firm. He knows when to create surprises and when to bring peace. He is a man who can laugh loudly with her on adventures and also quietly stand beside her through storms. So, don't force yourself to become a bad boy in the negative sense, or a nice guy to the point of boredom. Be yourself, but be a balanced and mature version of yourself. Develop both sides within you: strength, decisiveness, and the courage to face challenges, and also gentleness, understanding, and reliability. And above all, always be a man who knows respect. This is the key to becoming the ideal man in women's eyes, a man who isn't trapped in any label, a complete man, who knows how to love and how to be loved. We're nearing the end of this journey. Let's close it out with an overall view of this constant change. After all the analysis and deep dives we've done from the beginning until now, there is one thing I want you to remember. Clearly, women's preferences are not a destination, but an ongoing journey. They are always changing, always shifting, like a river that never stops flowing. Never think you've found the final answer to the question, do women like nice guys or bad boys? Because that answer will always change with each stage of a woman's life, with every experience she goes through, and with every scar she has healed. When they are young, they crave fun and spontaneity from a bad boy who dares to think and dare to act. When they face emotional wounds, they seek peace and stability from a trustworthy nice guy. And when life becomes too calm, they want a bit of spice, a bit of challenge to make life feel exciting again. It's a natural cycle, a constant oscillation between extremes, and most importantly, what women are truly looking for is not a specific nice guy or bad boy label. What they long for is the right guy. The right guy, who is he? He's the man who can give her both joy and safety. The man who can laugh with her through spontaneous adventures, yet also be a solid shoulder for her to lean on when life gets hard. The man who can stimulate her soul with new experiences, but also knows how to bring peace and stability when she needs it. He is a man who knows how to balance the different sides of himself, someone who can be yin when gentleness is needed, and yang when strength is required. And above all, he must be a man who knows respect for her, respect for himself, and respect for life. If a woman cannot find the right guy, she will always feel confused, always questioning whether she made the right choice. She will keep asking, keep searching, until she truly feels she has found the other half she belongs with. So, the final message I want to leave you with is this. Don't try to become someone else just to please women. Don't force yourself into the role of a nice guy or a bad boy in an artificial way. Instead, focus on becoming the best version of yourself, a mature man who knows how to balance the different aspects within him. And most importantly, a man who always knows how to respect. Live a full life. Keep learning. Keep growing. Be a man who listens not only to words, but also to the subconscious signals of the woman he loves. And trust this: when you are a genuine, balanced, and respectful man, you will naturally become the right guy that any woman longs for. Thank you for listening. I hope these reflections help you gain a clearer, deeper understanding of the complex yet fascinating world of women. Move forward with confidence on your journey,